Good morning, everyone. Okay, so let's come clean right now. We have a brand new platform for the Be Live. It looks amazing. It's very beautiful, but I'm a little bit confused. So bear with me if it's not where it's supposed to be, if it's not doing what it's supposed to be. I apologize. It's been a little bit crazy trying to figure out this whole thing. That's a beautiful thing about technology. It allows you to do amazing things, but sometimes you can get a little bit confused. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to bring my amazing guest on. Many of you now, most of you have already met Nancy Seeger, the CEO squared of Women Talk. And she's shared a few stories here and there, but we still don't know all that much about Nancy. So let's bring her on board so we can ask our questions. And is it working?
It's working.
There we are. There we are. Good morning, Nancy. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. I'm awesome. We had an awesome event in Langdon last night. Wow.
Oh, wasn't it? The room was full and there was amazing stories.
Yeah.
You know what I like the most about this is we had quite a few members there last night, and all three of our speakers were members, one brand new member, but the other two, it's been a really, really fascinating story for me, or experience, if you wish, watching these women from the first time to deliver their stories, and then after they do it a few times, and now the story evolves and changes, and all of a sudden, and this happened last night, same story, same talker, but something brand new just poof popped out. And I said, that's the story of the story. There's way more to this, isn't there?
Well, there is. And it ties into what we were talking about at one of the other events earlier this week, that the microphone is so healing that after you have been on it a few times and you really get up there and you're sharing, you start to realize where in this case, what she was holding back, right? And she was willing to share that in this safe environment. But of course, we all have to feel it out to make sure it is safe. We all have different stories. There's lots of stories that I share with you in the van that I wouldn't share here online, for example.
Oh, what do you mean? Like you're not going to share them here?
In some form or another, but
Oh, I see. Roseanne found us. Woo! So I'm really not sure what's going on, if we're in the right place or not, but everybody will eventually see the show. So let's move forward with. Okay, so today it's all about Nancy, and we're going to find out some more about Nancy. So what I decided to do is I am going to give away a free ticket to any Women Talk you want to go to, one of our monthly events. And all you have to do is ask a question that I love. So I'm going to pick my favorite question of the show, and you're going to win a free ticket to Women Talk anywhere you wish. So Nancy, let's start with asking you, where were you born?
Actually, I was born right here in Calgary. That's a rare thing, but I am a native-born Calgarian.
That's pretty rare.
It's not very common anymore.
For sure. And so tell me a little bit about your journey, how you got to be a system expert, and then we'll talk about how you got involved with Women Talk.
Well, so actually, I'm one of these people that really, really believes that things kind of follow for some reason. We all, wow, that just a bit, whoosh. People kind of start into things. So when I was very young, I didn't have a career path, and I actually was an artist and did paintings and drawings and other things. And I always thought that was going to be my career. I really did.
Okay, stop for a second. An artist? Are you kidding me?
Hey, I'm pretty damn good. You should see some of my paintings.
So you're a painter. You paint.
I haven't for years, but yeah, I used to. That's all I used to do. I was obsessed with it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so your job when we're done talking, you got to post one of your painting in the comments.
Okay. I will do that.
Awesome. All right. So painter, artist.
So I actually thought that was going to be my career. I thought I was going to the College of Art and Design, and that was all I had ever planned. And when I went in high school, that's all I studied. I had an interesting background, but as is with most things, I would lose interest in them very quickly. Just not interested anymore. Art stuck with me my whole life. I had an aunt who was an artist, and it stuck with me. But I came out of high school, and I would take one job and then another job and then another job, and I was trying. And I'd had, during my high school years, a lot of things changed. So for me, there was a death in my family, and then my brother was charged with rape, and that all kind of happened in my grade 12 year, and it just kind of blew up my understanding of the world. So I went out looking for a job. I wasn't going to go to college. I actually had a scholarship to the College of Art and Design. I said, no, I need to go do some stuff. So I started working these jobs, and I really loved doing different jobs. I was really good at sales. But my brother challenged me. He said, but you quit every 6 months. You're never going to go anywhere. You quit all the time. So I said, okay, challenge accepted. And I took the next job I'm going to take, I'm going to stay there for 5 years. And I did. And I actually became involved in manufacturing and system, so anyhow, long story short, lots of jobs, lots of different things. I got eventually into marketing is where I ended up, with a little bit of the creative and a little bit of the, logical side. And then different events also happened to me. And one of the stories that I share at Women Talk is how I was held hostage by a convicted murderer, and how that made me appreciate the systems and what we do in systems. And I started analyzing everything very differently. So I was an international, I was an international director of international sales for a computer software company. I was a purchasing manager. I was an operations manager. I went through all kinds of different fields over the years. And I landed at the software company, stayed there for a long time, traveled the world with them, did great things, but my kids came along, and that's a whole nother series of stories, because by then I'm in my 30s, and I wanted to work from home. I wanted to work remotely. Now, in that era, in the early 90s, it wasn't common. Nobody worked from home. But this company, because I had done so well for them, and because I was doing international sales, and I was telling even the ladies last night, we were talking about this, doing international sales with the old 5-pound phone, so the guys from Australia could call you at 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, and the guys from the UK could call you at 5, 6 in the morning. Exactly. This thing was a mobile phone. It was a luggable. But yeah, so then getting involved with computer software and setting up systems for them and designing CRMs and database. And then I went into system analysis design, and I did all that for them for years. And as I have 2 boys now, and they became my priority. So when they started school, I couldn't travel anymore. I said, I'm staying home. I'll work remotely for you if you want. Because I was still working all odd hours. It's not like somebody could do this job, at a desk 9 to 5. But I'm going to do it my way. And they were okay with that for a while. And then the company got sold, and new management had a different perspective on it and didn't like remote workers. So I went, okay, bye. Time for a new challenge. And that's when I became an entrepreneur. My kids have always taken priority, and I became an entrepreneur. And so one job after another, I led myself into learning and training and event management. And I had a company that's called School Supplies, and, but my skill was always the logic systems, always pulling it together in a way that made sense and made profit really quickly. And then I could either sell it or whatever. I could lose interest and move on. So that's how I ended up where I'm at. And when I started with Infusionsoft in 2011, I started working with Infusionsoft. I just fell in love with it, because all the years of my marketing and all the years of my system analysis and design and so WordPress and Infusionsoft, e-commerce, all those things just kind of came together in one, wow, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And that's where I'm at. That's how I am, how I got here.
That's so interesting, because, the artists and the infusions, like, it's such different, like, systems and art, like, it's such different world.
Well, it is, but I really think that we all have certain gifts and talents that come out of us, and it's innate. And it's really funny, because in my family, so my oldest sister programmed on the Fortran computer cards years ago. She doesn't do that anymore. But my next sister went right from high school to Shell Canada and worked as a geophysical technician doing mapping, and learned how to code in Fortran, of all things, to do mapping for where to drill a well, right? And so my two children, and then I have a niece that's into programming. She works for Intergraph and she does system analysis design. Like, it's like the whole family just kind of migrated that way over time. Even both of my sons, it's kind of funny. My oldest son has a master's in neurology, and he's now going back to do another master's in data analytics and computing science, because he's doing big data for research labs, right? He's going into the computer, go figure, right? My youngest son, who's an actor and who has never, ever wanted to be anything but an actor. Literally, he started fine art school in grade 3. That's all he's ever done. He's 27. He's now looking at full stack development to do that part-time on the side so he can make enough money to live as an actor. But we've all migrated, right? Kind of back into that side of it. So I do think some of that is the logic and skill side of it. I think some of that comes innately through how your genes progressed. I don't know how that works. Ask my son. But
yeah, well, I think we're all like, we're not linear. You know, all human beings, we have so many different parts of us that's why we need to keep doing stuff out of our comfort zone, because sometimes we just discover like, ooh, like going to convention and conferences and like, oh my God, I love it. Because every time I go, it's like, oh, I love this. And, you know, you get all pumped up.
Well, exactly. And like when you and I go to conferences, you see things very different than I do, because what gets you excited is not what gets me excited about.
Which is awesome.
we were at a marketing conference in April, and Bridget's going, wow, over this. And I'm like, really? This is doing this, and this is doing this, and they should be doing this. This is so exciting. She's like, no, it's over here.
Yeah. And that's why, you know, when you create a partnership, it's a great thing to have somebody that's very different than you. It can be difficult at times, but you got to see the incredible benefits of having somebody that gets excited over different things than you.
Because you cannot. So there's two things that I really love that I've learned from different events over the years. The people who get you to where you are today are probably not going to be the same people that get you to the next level in your business and in your life. You know, we all love our family dearly, but at some point in time, we have to stretch out beyond them. And if we don't, we're limiting ourselves, right? So it doesn't mean you have to throw everybody away from your past or from different things. But, you know, even with team, I mean, I have a team of 5, and the team members that got me to, you know, my first 5-figure month, they're not the same ones that are there now. And
whatever took you here is not going to take you there.
It's not going to take you there. And you know, and that's even the tribes that you associate yourself with. You know, you need to be testing and moving and having multiple different tribes so you do see different perspectives. And I've always said, you know, you've got to hire everybody smarter than you if you want to elevate yourself to the next business, to the next level in your business. I mean, this is actually my 5th or 6th business that I've started as an entrepreneur. And every time, the ones that grew were because of the team members and the people that I surrounded myself with to make me smarter and better.
Love it. Okay, I do have a couple of questions. I have no clue. I know we're playing live because I saw Michelle post.
I'm scared of some of these questions.
No, they're not mine, actually. So if you have a question, you can message me on Facebook, or you can post it right here in the comments. If you are watching this video live, here is my little shindig here. So ask a question. I'm going to pick my favorite question, and you're going to win a free ticket to Women Talk. So Roseanne sent me a Facebook message here, and there's a couple of questions. The first one is, what's the best joke that you've ever played on someone?
Ooh. That's a tough one, because I've never been a prankster. Like, I've never been.
You've never played a joke on anyone?
I don't think so. I had some good chuckles, and we were sharing stories that we overlap with people. I can tell my niece story, the camping story. But But
Yeah, do it. Oh my God, we laughed so hard in the car. I was crying.
Okay, so I'll tell this story. So I have the most brilliant niece in the world. She is, I'm sure, Mensa intelligence. And we took her camping. I don't know. She was 8, 10, 12, very young. But she's brilliant. And you already could see it in her. But this was so funny. We were camping and we had an old Ford Econoline van. So when we showed up Friday night, it was quite windy out and we were trying to make hot chocolate. My boys were very little. And we're sitting inside the van and this niece, I'm not going to say her name because you're going to all laugh at this, but she was trying to make hot chocolate and the wind was blowing it around. So we moved inside the van to make hot chocolate. And my husband, who's an engineer and very, linear type, she was having trouble seeing in the van how to get the right scoop and stuff. So he takes a flashlight and reaches down and lifts it up and flashes it up on the ceiling because the interior of the van's all white. So of course it reflects everywhere inside the van. And then the next night we're making hot chocolate again at the campfire and we're sitting outside and some I almost said her name. My niece just reaches across. She's making hot chocolate. She can't see because it's dark out. She reaches across and grabs the flashlight and flips it up on the table, hoping that it will illuminate. So it's one of my favorite stories because it's not a practical joke. We didn't. She did it to herself, but the reality is, it was still one of those priceless moments where you could just see on her face, like, why didn't that work? And she's looking around trying to figure it out and connect the dots. And she did. It took a few seconds, but of course, by that time, we were all killing ourselves laughing.
Funny. Okay, Nancy, what is the craziest out of your comfort zone thing you've ever done?
Ooh.
Partner up with Bridget. Hello.
Yeah, that's at the top. That's really at the top. Actually, taking a partner is one of the craziest things I've ever done because I always swore I would never, ever take a partner. So taking a partner is definitely up there. For me, I would have to say it was learning to scuba dive. And that's a story I'm going to share with you all because not today necessarily, but I am deathly afraid of water. I had 3 near drowning experiences. So for me, going outside of my comfort zone, being able to learn to scuba dive so I could travel with my children and dive with my boys and my husband, who are all scuba certified and all lifeguards, that was way outside my comfort zone. But also, as the story I told last night, so was skydiving when I did that when my son was 9 months old. So yeah, there's a few of them.
That would be pretty crazy. Okay, guys, remember, ask your questions in the comment, and I'm going to pick my favorite question for a free ticket to Women Talk. If you could go back to your 18-year-old self, what's the best advice you would give her?
Oh, you know what? I would absolutely say, I won't say have more fun because, God, I was a wild child at 18. I would say give up control. I mean, I always joke, and my email signature says I'm a control freak, but I am the first one to tell you that no matter what happens in this life, control is an illusion. We don't control anything. We can choose how we're going to react, but we don't even always control that. If you've ever been through trauma, you can't even always control your reaction. Give up control. Accept that the outcome is based on a million different variables, and you're only one of those. And move forward anyhow. Because you can change the outcome, you can change things, but the reality is there's no such thing as true control.
Interesting. Okay, Shauna is asking, what do you know for sure?
What do I know for sure? That's a good question, Shauna.
Very good question.
I know for sure that relationships to me are extremely important. And I have very few really close relationships, but my children, absolutely. I know I'd step in front of a bus for them. I know that. And I don't think anybody who knows them would deny that. My husband and I, there's a point in time in a relationship when it was interesting for me when I knew that I had committed myself 100% to that relationship was when I looked at it and said, and I know Andy will be watching this. So, hey, Andy, this was years ago. Even if you cheated on me, I'd have to find a way to work through it. When I was a kid, I always thought that would be the one fine line. For me, I knew I was fully committed to my marriage and my relationship when I was willing to say, I don't think there's anything he could do other than hurt my children that would damage. I wouldn't say damage it. That would that I wouldn't be willing to work through in the relationship if he was willing to work it through. So those two things I know for sure. I know for sure that everything's going to change. Everything else in my life is going to change. Who I hang out with, what I do, where I'm at, it's all going to change. I know that for sure. And I'm okay with that. Change is good in my mind.
So let's go a little bit lighter. What's your favorite food?
Oh, anything spicy. Vindaloo is number one at the list. I am a...
What did you say is number one? Vindaloo?
Vindaloo, yeah.
What's that?
It's East Indian. It's hot. It's a hot, spicy dish. And you can have vindaloo lamb, vindaloo, whatever. It's usually meat, and it's a sauce that they put on it, and they can make it super hot.
Okay.
And I love spicy food. That's easy.
Favorite drink?
Favorite drink is red wine, but consumed most often is tea.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah. Because I don't want to start with wine in the morning. If I could, I probably would. And it's funny, I always say, like, I have a lot of food allergies and a lot of control issues that way, which is really funny because I say you have no control in life. And that's one of the things that teaches me that. But I always say if I could eat everything without allergies, I'd probably weigh 400 pounds because I love food and I love wine and I love everything. I just can't have it.
I just read a post today actually talking about one that made me laugh, a random act of kindness. Oh, yeah. And this person said, I had a glass of wine for you.
I like that. Okay, now I'm drinking to my friends all the time.
I'm so kind. Every day I do an act of kindness. Who's your favorite speaker?
Oh, one of my absolute favorite speakers is going to be at the convention this year.
Our convention?
Our convention.
Oh, are you going to say her name? Are we saying her name, or are we keeping it secret?
We're keeping it secret right now, okay. But she is somebody who coaches. She's one of my absolute favorite speakers in the world.
That's incredible.
I know, and I was so thrilled when she said yes.
Because you've seen a lot of speakers.
I have. I've seen a lot of speakers. Bo Eason is definitely at the top, but for certain reasons, he's a very qualified, very passionate speaker, and I love how he delivers. Suzanne Evans is one of the top sales speakers that I've ever seen. If you ever want to know how to fill an event and sell $1 million worth of your coaching programs in a room, Suzanne Evans is the person to follow.
She is something else.
She's a force of nature. She's unbelievable.
Woo!
Lisa Sasevich doesn't run her live events anymore, but she does speaker training and basic business training and how to get online. She's somebody that, the way she delivers, her whole persona, her authenticity, unbelievable, out of this world. Of course, Bridget has taught me more about storytelling and being myself and stepping into who I am than all of these big name speakers that I've worked with. And there's quite a few of them. And David Nagel is for private coaching, for working on your mindset. He is, in my mind, the best speaker to follow. Although there is a lovely lady that I also like for that. And this is her book. It's
oh, the other way. Go the other side.
Go the other side. There we go.
Yeah, that a little
there
more. I'm in your way. There you go.
Okay. Carrie Lagar Murphy. And she actually has, daily meditations and other things for mindset. Those two are the ones that I would step up to. But I mean, I could list a dozen more.
Nice. Okay. So Susan Whalen Jensen has a question. What is your go-to when things are not going your way?
Meditation. Really, I am, and Bridget can tell you, I'm a believer in the miracle morning. I do these 10 steps, and when things aren't working in technology, relationships, whatever, I go sit on my cushion, and I have this nice little cushion in the corner of my office, and I give myself 10 minutes and just, or walk out in nature, because I live on a big park, and go for a walk in nature. But it is getting space, some kind of space.
Mm. And what's the favorite thing you've ever done in your whole life?
Scuba diving.
Oh, really? That was the scariest and the most.
Well,
your most favorite.
Sex up there because I do happen to really like sex. Sorry, I have to be honest, but I did, with my husband. But at the same time,
Oh, that's a good thing. I just love sex. Woo! Sorry,
anyway,
honey, if you're
only with
watching.
Andy. Only with Andy. But the reality is, I mean, for me, so scuba diving is kind of like meditations. Although I hate being above the water, once you're under the water, it's so serene and so calm. And I mean, I'm still scared witless out down there, and I cannot go anywhere that's not, with somebody who's really an expert. But the reality is that it's just so serene and so peaceful and so different. I have a story when my kids were little, we took them to Orlando, and there's I think it's Orlando, and they have Discovery Cove, which is a SeaWorld place. And you have to go in there and you have to wear their wetsuits, and it's really pricey. But the reality is that you get to swim with the dolphins, and you get to swim through this. They have this aquarium that you float in, and I was so calm. You're wearing goggles and everything. And I'm so calm. And I was laying there for so long, swimming in this aquarium with all these natural, beautiful fish. And the sharks are inside a glass wall right here. And there's all this stuff. And I was laying there so long that they sent somebody out to see if I had died. Because I was so calm and just watching all these fish. So, yeah,
Just
that
like,
kind of stuff.
ooh. Yeah, and sometimes it's hard because when you have this thing that you love a lot, and then as you get older, sometimes you got to shift a little,
Yeah. I mean, I'm in my zone of genius when I'm diagnosing steps and processes. I think Bridget will tell you that I get a little bit carried away there, and it really, but it's a different kind of excitement. It's a different kind of excitement. My favorite thing to do in the whole world would not be although I can't see myself retiring from that, it would be in that peaceful state, that zone, and that's where my best ideas come from too. I mean, if I can't get something work on the system, I walk away to give myself that peaceful state, because that's where the real gems come in.
Cool. Okay, so before we go, what made you get involved with Women Talk?
You beat me and beat me and beat me down. Now,
I pulled some hockey moves on you.
No, I came on as national sponsor last fall, and I've always been a supporter of Women Talk. And we've talked about this. We met many, many years ago. But the reality is that when I went to convention last year, and again, things always happen for a reason. Bridget and I bumped into each other for years, but we hadn't actually partnered together. And then we, for some reason, friends put us together close to the convention last year. And Bridget was really busy getting the convention out, but we got some things in place. And then I went to convention, and I was looking for a different way to share my story, to get involved, to connect with women, because I felt there was a piece of something missing. And as soon as I did the convention weekend, it just all started coming together. So we started building systems for Bridget and working with Bridget. And like I say, we talked about it many months, worked together many months. And then what really nailed it in, put the final nail in it and made me bite the bullet, because I was the one hesitating. Bridget was saying, after a couple of months there, she was going, okay, are we moving forward on this? What are we doing? We need to make a decision, because she was determined she needed a partner. And we did the Fernie event, and it was an all-day event. And I was the first speaker in the morning, and I can't remember, there was 10 or 12 speakers that day. And one of the last speakers came in, and the stories she shared and the impact it had and the environment, that was April 14th, and I literally went home and wrote the contract the next day, and we were incorporated May 1st. Boom, just like that was it. We're moving.
It did you in. And what's your goal? Like, is it for, what's your goal for being with Women Talk?
Well, my goal has always
your ultimate goal.
My ultimate goal, and this started in 2013. In 2013, I learned that I didn't have a company in Calgary that I could help, even though I was a native-born Calgarian, after the flood. I had nobody I could help recover from the flood. So I started trying, working more local, doing business training local, doing everything local to try and build businesses in Calgary. What I see with Women Talk, and what my goal is with Women Talk, is to raise everybody up, lift up all the women in Alberta, because I think the women are critical to growing the culture and environment and the acceptance, and that will change business. We've been an oil and gas mentality and culture for so many years, and we need some new lifeblood, and women have always been the driving force behind communities. So this to me is my ultimate goal, is 200 chapters for Women Talk around the world, sharing their stories and lifting communities. That's my goal for Women Talk.
Love it. We're going to end it on that because that's absolutely perfect. So thank you, Nancy. This has been fabulous, and I'm glad we're actually live somewhere. No, we are where we're supposed to be. I was just like, oh my God, like I'm trying to be like really calm here, but I don't know what the heck. We did it though. Woo!
Oh, we did it. We did
And
it.
that was really nice finding all this stuff about you. It's a beautiful beautiful partnership we have, and I love how we love and respect each other as we are.
As we are. That's the most important part.
Thank you. Thank you for being my partner. Thank you for being my guest today, and have a fabulous weekend, ladies. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye. Love you, Bridget.
Love you too.